All right, let's go ahead and get started. So, as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about Ngage Live Chat today. You guys can see we're part of the Martindale Legal Marketing Network. You guys are probably also familiar with Martindale Hubble, Nolo, and then recently Avo. So a quick rundown for the agenda. We're just going to do a quick introduction. We're going to follow that with just discussing what is live chat, how does it work, and then hopefully the most important part is just following up with any questions and answers. So like I said, my name is Mark Shepard. I'm actually the president of Ngage. We have been operating Ngage for just about 9 years now. I was actually the first Ngage sales rep ever. We're headquartered out of Austin, Texas, and we now work with over 8,000 legal sites and legal properties. The main reason we exist is just to help a firm get more total leads out of their same website. So if you ever want to contact me directly, my email is right there. It's just mark@ngagelive.com. So some quick housekeeping stuff. If you have any questions that come up throughout the presentation, you can actually submit it through the webinar platform on the right side there. We're going to try to answer all those questions at the end. If there's any questions that we don't get to, we can actually respond to you directly after the event. We're going to try to keep this presentation short and sweet, around 30 minutes, if that. Afterwards, we'll have this recorded and we'll distribute to all the attendees in case you'd like to share it with one of your colleagues. You have my email address. Here's also our main line and then a main email address if you'd like to contact us that way. Here's just a screenshot. You can see the tab on the right where it says questions. That's where you can enter in your questions throughout the presentation. Like I said, we'll knock them all out at the end. So what is live chat? The fancy name for it is it's a customer engagement tool. Basically what we do is we'll place a live chat or instant messaging application on the firm's existing website. And then we actually have a team of secretaries that monitor those chats 24/7. So the whole point of it, law firms have visitors coming to their site every day. The issue is the majority of those visitors will check out a site and leave without ever contacting the firm. Ngage can help with that. Basically, we would engage that visitor in a chat and get them talking before they would have otherwise just left the site and continued their search elsewhere. This results in more total leads for the firm, which will be a theme of this presentation. So here's kind of a quick glimpse of what it looks like. After the visitor's browsing for a little bit, there will be this chat invitation. It just says, hey, we're available to help if you have any questions. There's also the tab on the left side there if the visitor wants to choose that option to start chatting. The visitor can click no, it's programmed to go away and not continue to bother them, or they can click yes, and that'll engage them in a chat with an operator right away. So it's kind of like like walking into a department store. After you look around a little bit, it might be nice for someone to ask if you need any help. If they say no, you obviously don't want to keep bothering them, but then you have the live chat button if they do need something later on. So here's kind of what the chat window looks like. After the visitors click yes, Shelby answer the chat here, but they're going to pick up within 5 seconds tops, and that's what we found is to be key, is to make it this operator's only job is to respond quickly and engage these visitors in a chat. You'll notice the operators, they're trained to never offer any kind of specific legal advice. What they'll do really is just focus on asking open-ended questions. So we'll get just a general understanding of their situation. We'll get the basic facts of their potential case. Ultimately, we'll get their contact info. And then as soon as the chat's done, we're going to deliver that, that lead, in a sense, to the firm to hopefully follow up right away and hopefully help that person out. Here's just another quick screenshot on what it looks like on a mobile device. We see actually over half the chats now come from mobile. The live chat service is optimized for a mobile device. It's almost like the visitor is texting back and forth with the chat operator, and seems to work pretty well. Here's a sample chat transcript. So like I said, as soon as the chat is done, the firm would receive this emailed copy. They can also receive a phone call, but they'll always receive this emailed copy. So it has the visitor's contact information at the top, a quick summary of their situation, and then you can read the actual transcript. Everything the visitor wrote, everything the operator wrote, with the timestamps. So there's complete transparency there, and a lot of times you'll learn a lot more about the visitor than you may have learned from just a quick contact form or something like that. So the benefits, like I said, the main reason Ngage exists is just to generate more total leads. What we've seen is when you add Ngage to a website, you can actually double the conversion rate of your same site. What this means, so like for our average law firm typically gets about 10 to 15 legitimate chats each month. The other benefit we have on here, you're there for immediate needs 24/7, 365. So even on holidays, or let's say the visitor's browsing in the middle of the night, you know, currently they may have to leave a voicemail, or they may have to fill out a contact form, and they may do that on 4 or 5 legal sites. With this, you've got somebody there 24/7, like I said, who's going to respond right away and make that person feel heard. That obviously creates a better first impression. So it makes your firm kind of look like a big deal because you've got this staff that's ready to help prospective clients 24/7. One benefit that I didn't really think of when we first started, but I've heard a lot from clients, is the increased efficiency, especially solo practitioners. You know, if normally they may take a phone call and be talking with a prospect for 30, 45 minutes, find out it's not a case that they can help them with. With the live chat, they can now quickly read a transcript, see if it's something that's urgent, or see if it's something that looks like a solid potential case. If it's not relevant to them, they just request the no fee, and hopefully they've saved themselves some time with that process. And then the last thing we have is pay for performance pricing. So with Ngage, there's a one-time activation fee. From there, it's just $35 for each legitimate chat that we send to the firm. What legitimate means is it needs to be something that the firm actually handles. So it needs to be relevant to your practice areas, within your geographic area. It needs to be a new contact. And so with that, there's no monthly fee. Again, it's totally based on performance. There's also several features that come free of charge with Ngage. So as soon as the chat's done, like I said, we're going to deliver those via email. We can also give you a text notification if you're on the run and want to get notified as soon as one comes in. We also have what we call live transfer or instant callback features. Basically what that is if you've got a visitor that's chatting, let's say we've warmed them up, they're ready to have someone call them right now, we actually have a way of patching that through to your firm immediately in real time. It can be pretty effective for for making sure you get that visitor on the phone, again, before they have a chance to start looking elsewhere. Text to chat it's a fairly recent addition by Google. You may have seen it. They've added like a messaging option if you're using Google AdWords, or a messaging option to your Google business listing. What we can do is if somebody clicks message when they find you on Maps, for example, we can have that text message go straight to an Engage chat operator. Same thing, they're available 24/7. They're going to text back and forth just like they chat back and forth, and then your firm is going to receive a completed lead transcript as soon as that interaction is done. There's also a Spanish chat that's available in 24/7. Many firms will put that on their, if they have a Spanish subpage, for example, on their website. CRM integration, what that means is it's a customer relationship management tool. Salesforce is an example, Infusionsoft, Lexicata. Many firms will have these software programs that help them juggle their incoming leads. Basically, what we can do is as soon as Engage Chat is completed, that can be delivered and entered into their CRM system automatically. Just makes the following up with those leads a little bit more efficient. And then finally, Google Analytics integration. So I always really encourage this. It'll basically allow a firm to go in and see exactly how well Engage is working. So they had it, let's say they had X total contacts before Engage. They added Engage. How many total contacts did they have afterwards? If the difference is worth what you're paying us, then it's, it's obviously a good fit and a long-term fit. So here's just some quick stats on Engage. So we're in all 50 states. We're actually in many international countries as well, in the UK and Canada. We've handled, this number is actually up to 3.5 million legal chats to date. So with that, we've learned a lot of different things in terms of how to convert one of these visitors, get your firm the most possible total opportunities through the chat service. Like I said, on over 8,000 legal sites, and then the average firm, again, this varies by traffic, but our average firm gets about 10 to 15 legit chat leads per month. Again, that's the whole point of Engage. So I think the way they look at it is if those are 10 or 15 leads that they might not have received otherwise, it seems to be a fit long term. And then I wanted to follow up with just a couple quick case studies. So I keep hitting on the whole point is to get your firm more total contacts or opportunities. Here's a couple of examples of that. So the dark column is how many, well, on the left, I should say, is how many total leads they had compared to the right, which is how many users they had from their website. So with Shim and Chang, they had 888 users that generated 14 leads. Once they added Engage, yes, their users went up to 1,206, but their number of total leads also went up to 65. So we were able to get them convert significantly more leads out of their same site. Same story with Jeff Field. His users were nearly the same, but when he added Engage, he jumped from 66 total leads from his site up to 216 total leads from his site. Still up to him to follow up with those quickly and to hopefully sign them up. But if he's confident in doing that, again, that's where Engage is a long-term fit. So I think that's all we've got for right now. I wanted to open up for questions and see if there's anything I can answer for the attendees.
Okay, Mark, we have a question. First question is, how many of these chats typically turn into a case?
Good question. So again, it's going to completely depend on, I would say, take a look at your current rate. If you're typically closing 1 out of 10 from your website, for example, I would say it's going to be the same for Engage. We're just going to get you more total leads. We actually recently did a poll with 50 of our clients, 50 new clients, I should say. What we found is, on average, it took 4.08 legit chat leads in order to get a new sign up. Again, that's going to vary on the case, but I think the way they look at it is if they're getting 1 case every 4 leads, it's, this is probably going to be a bet.
Mark, could you repeat the cost?
Yes. So there's a one-time activation fee, and then from there it's just $35 for each legitimate chat that we send to the firm. So we'll send every chat that includes the person's contact info. Our thought is we would rather have you know that it took place, and then if it's not relevant to what you do, or if it's outside your geographic area, or if it's a previous contact, you would just click a link, and that would make sure you're not charged for that non-opportunity.
Okay. The next question is, if someone would rather have phone calls, why would they introduce live chat?
So I think I agree. I think phone calls should be number one. That's the ultimate goal, and that's what a firm should strive for. The way I look at it is the whole point of live chat is to drive more phone calls. So, beforehand, you might have this visitor who, let's say they're not quite ready to pick up the phone, or they might be in a situation, let's say they're at work and they can't talk on the phone right away. The live chat is a good way to engage that person and get them warmed up to the point where they're then ready to take the next step, which is talking to your team on the phone. So I view Engage or live chat in general as a tool to lead to more phone calls, if that makes sense. And then, like I said, as the chat is warm, we also have that option of a live transfer where we can send them straight to your team via phone call.
Okay, thank you. Another question that came in. Can I write the script to tell the operators what to say?
You can. I definitely would want to hear your input. I'd say the one thing that some firms get hung up on is it's tempting to add 10, 20 questions to the chat. You're almost at that point turning the chat into a questionnaire, and you can actually scare some visitors off. You'll hurt conversion. What I typically suggest is starting with our kind of our tried and true approach that we know converts well. And then if we see something after a week or two that's a theme or a question that would be helpful if added, I usually recommend we do that there. Just that way we're not potentially hurting conversion if it's not absolutely necessary at that point.
Okay, thank you. Now, the next question we have is, who is responsible for coding the chat into the firm's site?
Good question. So what we would do is our team would generate a custom piece of code specific to your site. From there, what we typically do, if it's a Martindale site, we'll knock it out. But what we'll typically do is just get in touch with your web contact. we'll send them the directions, but it's really just a copy and paste of that code to the existing site. A really simple process. If there's any trouble with that, or let's say you handle the site yourself, we can actually do that for you. We would just need temporary login info. But yeah, we can also add that for you free of charge if you'd like.
Okay, then we have another question. What is the firm size for chat? Is there like a size that's necessary to have chat on their website?
Not that I've seen. So we have solo practitioners using this. We also have, nationwide mass tort practices with massive intake teams that use us for live chat. I think what those two firms both have in common is, they obviously have had a website as is. They were spending time and money to drive people there. And then they just knew if we're adding this live chat tool, we can get more total opportunities for our firm. But that's the way we're priced, the way we are. If you're only getting 1 or 2 leads a month, that's all you're paying for. If you're getting hundreds or thousands of leads per month, that's what you're paying for as well.
Okay. Another question that we have, are there any ethical reasons that you could think of, or any rules that prohibit certain people in certain states from having live chat on their site?
No, and we've actually had this, have had an official ethics opinion by at least a couple states. What they've said is basically because the visitor's choosing to come to your site, they're choosing to click yes and engage in a chat. They're choosing to leave their contact information. We have the disclaimer that says this does not constitute nor create an attorney-client relationship. So it's much like a visitor coming into your office and talking with the secretary, or even a visitor calling your office, and let's say you have an after-hours answering service, same type of deal. So the operator's never going to give specific legal advice. They're just going to ask some very basic questions, kind of make that visitor feel heard, and then get them ready to take the next step, which is talking to your team on the phone.
Okay. The next question we have is, can you have chats texted in addition to being emailed? Yes.
Yeah, so as soon as the chat's done, we can set up a text message notification. Those notifications typically just have the visitor's name, phone number, and then the subject, like the quick summary of their situation. So you won't have the entire chat transcript just because that's tough to jam into a text. But it does absolutely serve the purpose of notifying you that, hey, you just got a new chat lead, jump on this.
Okay. The next question is there any confusion or issues when the chat goes to the secretary and you're seeing a lawyer's picture on the website?
I think most people understand that there's a difference there. If that's a serious concern, we can always use a stock image on the chat invitation. But I think the way we've looked at it is, it's basically the branding of the site. I think most visitors understand that the partner of the firm is not going to take a chat at 2 a.m. And then once we start the chat, it actually has the operator's name on the transcript or on the back and forth there, so they know exactly who they're chatting with. If they ever ask, we'll say, let's say they asked, are you an attorney? We might respond with, I'm part of the live chat team for the firm. My job is to help put you in touch with the most appropriate person. Do you mind telling me a little bit about your situation? So that's just an example of one of the open-ended questions that we ask to try to get that visitor engaged and talking about their situation.
Great. And we have one last question, and that is, how do I sign up?
So you can email me directly, mark@ngagelive.com. Engage is spelled without the E on the front, and we can get you set up. Our website, like I said before, is also ngagelive.com. We've got a quick video on the homepage there that's probably a lot more concise than my presentation. If you want to share it with a partner or something like that, and then you can fill out a form or chat with us on there to get started in the setup process. So I think we'll wrap things up there. Thank you guys very much for your time. Like we said, we'll be following up with the recording of this presentation just for your records. But feel free to let us know if any additional questions come up or if there's anything we can help out with.
Thank you.